We are here to bring a new type of news show.
New insights, new styles, and new topics every day.
We are News Generation.
Bring news just for you. It's Tuesday, May 20th here in Seoul. I'm Songjin and you're tuning into News Generation. Joining us today is Kwon-Jiyeon.
Good to see you, Eugene.
Good to see you, Jiyeon, and Im Sang-yeon.
Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. Now both are here to speak on behalf of those in their 20s and 30s. We're going to begin our show today with our keyword news. Our keyword for today is non-marital birth. More and more young people in South Korea are rethinking the traditional ideas about family, especially when it comes to parenthood. According to a recent survey by the Korean Women's Development Institute, a growing number of women in their 20s and 30s are viewing non-marital childbirth more positively. 42.4% of women in their 20s said they support having children without getting married, a 14 percentage point increase compared to 2008. And among women in their 30s, the number reached nearly 41%, jumping 17 percentage points over the past 17 years. Meanwhile, men in the same age groups show slightly higher rates of support at around 43%, but the shift in perception was more dramatic among women, with sharper increases compared to earlier data. So what do you think is behind this change in perception, Sang-yeon?
Yeah, so one reason is the change in the traditional norms of family, having two children with a married wife or a husband living in the suburb. Now those stereotypes are now changing and now no longer seen as the only or best option. Many women now believe that a loving and stable home doesn't require a legal marriage, especially when they can have emotional and financial stability on their own. Today, more women are financially independent and have access to stable careers. This means they can afford to raise a child without relying on a partner. With better access to education, reproductive health rights, and career opportunities, many women feel empowered to shape their own lives, including motherhood on their own.
So they have more confidence that they can do it by themselves.
Right.
What are your thoughts on this, Jiyeon?
Well, personally, I do believe that having a child without marriage is a valid and respectable, that is, choice. And, you know, society is shifting and is changing indeed, and many now prioritize personal happiness over traditional structures. So I'm quite close to Sayuri, who is a Korean celebrity, and she made that bold decision herself. And I've seen how empowered and fulfilled she is as a mother. I do think that more people are starting to value emotional independence and self-defined families. It's not about breaking norms. It's all about expanding the meaning of love they have and parenthood. So families come in all shapes and all kinds of courage.
And maybe we'll get to see new forms of family in the future.
That's right.
And that was our keyword news for this Tuesday. So we're now going to move on to our main discussion of the day. It's Tuesday, and that means we're turning our focus to what's making headlines on Korea's cultural front. Take a look at the screen to find out more.
Today is Together Day here in Korea. The government designated this day in 2007 to promote mutual respect and understanding between Korean citizens and foreign residents, hoping to create a society where people from different backgrounds can live together in harmony.
Okay, so marking Together Day, today on NewsGen, we're going to explore what life is like for those who've made Korea their new home. So starting off, we're going to take a closer look at what Together Day really is and the number of foreign nationals living in Korea today. So Jiyeon, why don't you start us off by explaining to our viewers a bit more about what this day means?
Well, of course. Well, Together Day is a national holiday that promotes understanding and harmony among people from different countries and different cultures as well. In line with this goal, Korea became the first Asian country to be officially recognized as a multi-ethnic, multicultural society last year. And when foreigners made up about over 5% of the population, and this year marks the 18th Together Day, then there are various events and cultural programs held nationwide in order to celebrate diversity and inclusion. As Korea's foreign resident population continues to grow, initiatives like Together Day play a crucial role in fostering a more inclusive society in Korea.
Right, and we're now going to take a look at more numbers. So exactly how many foreign nationals are currently living in Korea, Sang-yeon?
Yeah, sure. So as of the end of 2024, over 2.6 5 million foreign nationals residing in Korea, making up approximately 5.17% of the total populations. Now, that's a notable increase from 4.89% in 2023. So 5 out of 100 are foreigners right now in South Korea, and 50% of them are in their 20s and 30s. And the target, and if you look at the largest nationality here, it is Chinese, followed by Vietnamese, Thai, and American.
I see. And another reason why we chose to talk about this topic today, not only because today is Together Day, is because recently there has been quite a buzz over a rising trend among foreign residents settling in a type of neighborhood known as a Goshichon, which is translated to Goshi or exam village in Korea. So for our viewers unfamiliar with the term, Ji-young, could you kind of provide us a snapshot of what Goshichon or Goshiwon is?
Yes, in Korea we have a village known as Goshichon Exam Village.
Or test takers.
That's right, that's correct. So Goshichon refers to neighborhoods where students live there while preparing for major exams. The most well-known Goshichons are in Noryangjin and Daeakdong area known as Shillindong Goshichon in Seoul. Each neighborhood became a hub for exam takers, test takers, depending on the type of the test they take. Noryangjin for government exams and Daeakdong for the bar exam back in the day, and others for teaching certificates or civil service. These areas are filled with cram schools, study rooms, budget eateries, and dorm-style housing. It's where thousands of students burnt the midnight oil day in, day out, chasing a single dream. Noryangjin is now seeing a sharp rise in foreign residents, with the number tripling over the past 8 years.
That's quite an increase. Then Sang-yeong, how popular would you say these Goshiwons or Goshichons have become among foreign residents or those who are visiting here?
Well, they're quite popular actually, and not only foreigners who live and work or study in Korea, but also those who are traveling and staying for a short period, sometimes choose to stay in Goshichon instead of Airbnb or guest houses. Now, in these neighborhoods, there is a unique type of accommodation called Goshiwon, which are much smaller and more simple compared to regular lodging facilities. However, they are extremely affordable and require no deposit, which makes them attractive to budget travelers. Online, foreigners often refer to Goshiwons using the Korean pronunciation and share tips such as clean Goshiwon recommendations or how to live in a Goshiwon.
So it seems that affordability is one of the biggest criteria or standards when foreign residents are trying to find accommodation or housing here in Korea. So to get a better understanding of what people really value when looking for a place to live here in the country, we ran a poll on our Arirang YouTube channel. We asked our viewers what matters most to you when looking for accommodation in Korea. 57% chose rent cost, or in other words, affordability, followed by size of the space, and then location and infrastructure, and others. And we're also going to read 3 comments that stood out. Our first comment for this Tuesday is by Gur Marita. Rent within my budget and a neighborhood where there is space for human relationships. Jox Parpai ING 3217 says access to green spaces is important to me, whether it's parks or nature. Benny D97, I think the rent cost because the budget is really the key. Right, so we're now going to focus more on the reasons why more foreign residents are moving into Goshichon. Why don't you start us off, Ji-young?
Well, actually, my husband spent several years in Goshichon area in Daeakdong. Well, he prepared for the bar exam back in the days. And back then, the area was bustling with students and the businesses over there, like exam-focused eateries, Goshiwons, and one-room rental thrived. I also used to live there because of my school, and I still attend a local church nearby, so I go to Goshiwon area once a week. However, things changed a lot when major national exams started to disappear. As you may know, the bar exam was abolished back in 2017, and also the National Foreign Service exam was that ended in 2013. As these exams disappeared in these areas, that means the number of aspiring test takers naturally declined. So many Goshiwons and one-room apartments, rental places became vacant, and local businesses faced downturns. One of my church member who run this rental struggles, he struggled a lot back then, but now things are picking up, foreigners are moving in, and some even say they are, the owner said that they are actually learning English in order to communicate with them. So for local shop owners who were worried about declining business over there, the growing foreign presence is actually a welcome change, welcome opportunity for them. So, it looks like Goshichon is getting a global makeover now.
Right, and it seems that the main reason is the cost, low cost and affordability. But what could be some other attractive points of Goshiwons or Goshichons that are really luring in these foreign residents?
Yeah, so in the beginning, these Goshichons were for the test takers, and the price was cheap because these test takers didn't have much financial capitals to buy the regular houses. So the prices were 20 to 30% cheaper compared to other areas. And you can also find a variety of budget-friendly meals like pop-up, which is a rice in a cup that offer a decent meal for a small amount of money. Another advantage is that Noryangjin is located in central Seoul, which means that you can go literally anywhere if you live in Noryangjin. And while there have traditionally been neighborhoods where many foreigners live, such as Itaewon in Yongsan-gu district and Daerimdong in Yeongdeungpo district, the growing number of foreigners coming into Korea has expanded the pie as well. So Noryangjin is now becoming one of those areas as well.
Right, so cost, infrastructure, and also accessibility.
Right.
Okay, so up next, we're going to speak to a young person from Indonesia for more on today's topic. We'll be right back.
NewsGen wants to hear from you. Go to YouTube and search our channel Arirang News. Click Community and leave a comment down below. Make a new type of news with us.
So today we're joined by Indonesian Gen Z, Kanya Darchanya Swasti. Welcome, Kanya, to the show.
Hi, hello. Can you hear my voice?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. Thank you so much for joining our show today.
Thank you so much also.
All right, Kanya. So we'd first like to ask you, when you were first looking for housing in Korea, did you hear about or consider living in a Goshichon or Goshiwon?
So yes, I've heard about Goshichon or Goshiwons from people around, and I was also considering it as a last option if I couldn't obtain a one-room or a studio room accommodation near my campus.
Then what are some benefits and challenges of living in a Goshichon, Goshi village, exam-taking village, that you have heard from those around you?
So maybe some benefits of living in Goshichon or Goshiwons are that the monthly rent itself is slightly cheaper than one rooms or studio rooms, and the room in itself is more compact. And another thing is that if you personally stay out or go out during the day or you're active, I think it is a good thing to have a compact and like cozy living space. But as of for the challenges, I've heard struggles from people around that some residencies are extremely small, like this space is actually quite small, and then though it might differ from each person, it could be suffocating to live, study, sleep, and repeat those routines daily in such a tiny room for like a long-term period. And since the walls, some places have quite thin walls, you can't get as much privacy or silence, and if perhaps your neighbors are not aware of their surroundings, it might get quite noisy for you.
Okay, Kanya, since you have experience in searching for decent housings, so for people looking to find accommodations in Korea, what kind of recommendations would you give them to consider?
Since I'm staying here for studies and it's quite long term, so I would definitely consider either dormitories or one rooms. But obviously, there are several factors that they need to consider. First of all, if whether they are comfortable living with other people, and also budget, area, and utilities that they want. So these factors, I think, are the most important ones to consider. And for example, some areas might have good rooms that comes furnished, located in a nearby neighborhood to the campus, but it might have a slightly higher price, or maybe you prefer smaller, older room with general facilities that may have a regular price. And back again, it really depends on your personal preference and where people are trying to reside with. And we need to keep in mind that these different areas also have different price ranges. But personally, I would still recommend a one room. That's the safest and most comfortable option for an accommodation.
And one last question, Kanya. When you were looking for housing, was there any helpful source or help or support system that you received that helped you find the appropriate housing for you?
So I have several friends or seniors that have been finding places or houses nearby campus. So I asked them for recommendations, and I also went through several house hunting websites such as Tikbang, and then from there I tried to contact the Pudongsan, and I would ask my Korean friends or local friends to come with me to check these houses personally and also read through the contracts so I won't miss anything. But yeah.
All right, Kanya, thank you so much for your time today and hope you have a happy Tuesday.
Thank you so much. Happy Tuesday.
Thank you. Right, so ending off, as Korea becomes more culturally and ethnically diverse, it's really important to make sure newcomers can find the support that they really need. So ending off, where can foreign residents go to or for help or information when settling in? And what should they really keep in mind when they are hunting or looking for a house?
That's a very good question. As more expats are settling in Korea, the South Korean government has been expanding support systems like multicultural family support centers and also the employment permit system for foreign workers here. And so if you are interested, please visit those websites. And here's a practical tip for those who really want to move into the exam prep neighborhoods like Noryangjin or 대학동, 신림동, Goshichon area. Many Goshichon, there are some restaurants known as Goshichon or budget eateries for test takers, offer monthly meal tickets.
Really?
For them, very cheap, very affordable, filling and often home-style meals. So great for both your wallet and your health at the same time. So quite a smart choice for saving money while eating well, win-win really.
That's such an important tip because as much as housing is important, the food is also important.
Of course, indeed.
And what advice would you give, Sang-yeon?
Now, the problem with searching house only online is that there could be some fraudulent real estate items.
Right.
So I suggest the foreigner should also search for their places on site as they visit the real estaters or other agencies. So foreigners should also, yes, go around the site to check whether the facilities are tidy and neat. And there is, in fact, a foreigner-friendly real estate agency in areas with high foreigner populations like Itaewon, Gangnam, Hongdae, or Noryangjin as well. And if you are a student or a researcher in graduate school, most Korean universities have international offices that assist in finding nearby housing options. And these also partner with trusted local landlords and housing platforms as well. So foreigners can easily access to cheaper housing facilities and they wouldn't really have to worry about language barriers as well.
Right, and you can always ask your friends or your colleagues if you are going to school or if you are having a job here in Korea. And that's all we have for News Gen today, but we will be back tomorrow, Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. Korea time. Special thanks to Kwon Ji-yeon.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, and Im Sang-yeon.
My pleasure as always.
Thank you, and to our viewers, thank you for tuning in and hope you have a great Tuesday and Together Day. We are News Generation.